Hey everyone, welcome back to Blue Aquatics. I'm your host Himanshu Suri, and today we are diving into a topic that worries a lot of goldfish owners. Why is my goldfish sitting at the bottom of the tank? If you have noticed your goldfish chilling on the substrate, barely moving, or just not acting like its usual lively self, it can be really concerning. Goldfish are known for their playful, active nature, so seeing them parked at the bottom of the tank is a red flag that something might be off. But don't worry, on Blue Aquatics, we are all about helping you figure out what is going on and how to fix it. In this video, we are going to explore every possible reason why your goldfish might be sitting at the bottom, from water quality issues to health problems, environmental factors, and even normal behaviors. We will cover practical solutions to get your goldfish swimming happily again. This is going to a deep dive, so grab a snack, get comfortable, and let's get started. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video from Blue Aquatics. Let's start with the most common culprit, water quality. Goldfish are messy fish, they produce a lot of waste, and if your tank's water parameters are not in check, it can stress them out and cause them to sit at the bottom. Ammonia and nitrite are two big troublemakers. These compounds are part of the nitrogen cycle, and even small amounts can be toxic to goldfish. Ammonia burns their gills and skin, making them lethargic, while nitrite reduces their ability to carry oxygen, leaving them weak and prone to resting at the bottom. If your tank is not fully cycled or you have skipped water changes, ammonia or nitrate spikes could be the issue. High nitrate levels, while less toxic, can also stress goldfish over time, leading to similar behavior. On Blue Aquatics, we always stress the importance of testing your water regularly. Grab a liquid test kit and check for ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. Ideally, ammonia and nitrite should be 0, and nitrate should be below 20 to 40 ppm for goldfish. If you find high levels, do a partial water change about 25 to 30% using dechlorinated water, and make sure your filter is working properly to support the nitrogen cycle. Another water quality factor to consider is pH. Goldfish prefer a pH between 7 to 8, and sudden changes of extreme values can stress them out, causing them to hide at the bottom of the tank. If your pH is too low or too high, it can irritate their gills and make them uncomfortable. Temperature is also critical. Goldfish thrive in cooler water, typically between 65 degree Fahrenheit and 75 degree Fahrenheit, depending on their variety. If your tank is too warm, say above 78 degree Fahrenheit, it can reduce oxygen levels, making your goldfish sluggish and more likely to rest at the bottom. On the flip side, water that is too cold can slow their metabolism, leading to similar behavior. Check your tank's temperature with a reliable thermometer and adjust your heater or chiller if needed. On Blue Aquatics, we recommend gradual changes to avoid shocking your fish. So if you need to adjust pH or temperature, do it slowly over a few hours or days. Let's move on to the health issues, because a goldfish sitting at the bottom can often be a sign of illness. One common problem is swim bladder disease, which affects a goldfish's ability to control its buoyancy. The swim bladder is an air filled organ that helps fish float and swim properly. If it is compromised, your goldfish might sink to the bottom or struggle to stay upright. Swim bladder issues can be caused by overfeeding, constipation, or bacterial infections. Goldfish are notorious for gulping food too quickly, which can lead to air bubbles or compacted food in their digestive system, putting pressure on the swim bladder. If you suspect this, try fasting your goldfish for 24 to 48 hours, then feed them a small piece of cooked peeled pea to help clear any blockages. On Blue Aquatics, we always say feed sparingly and soak dry foods like pellets to prevent swim bladder problems. If the issue persists, it could be a bacterial infection, so keep an eye out for other symptoms like clammed fins or bloating, and consider consulting a vet or using an aquarium safe antibiotic. Parasites and infections are another health related cause. External parasites like itch or flukes can irritate your goldfish, causing them to rub against the substrate or sit at the bottom to avoid discomfort. Itch, for example, shows up as white spots on the body and fins, while flukes might cause flashing or scratching behavior. Internal parasites can also make your goldfish lethargic, leading to bottom sitting. Check your fish closely for signs like spots, redness, or unusual behavior. If you suspect parasites, quarantine the affected fish if possible and treat the tank with a medication like praziquantel for flukes or a copper-based treatment for itch. Following the instructions carefully. Bacterial infections like fin rot or ulcers can also cause lethargy and bottom sitting. Look for frayed fins, sores, or a dull appearance. On Blue Aquatics, we recommend keeping a quarantine tank ready for sick fish and always treating early to prevent the problem from spreading to other tank mates. Let's not overlook environmental factors because your tank setup can play a big role in why your goldfish is at the bottom. Goldfish need plenty of space. A fancy goldfish like orandas need at least 20 gallons for one fish, while single tail varieties like comets need 50 gallons or more. If your tank is too small, waste build up faster, stressing your fish and making them more likely to sit at the bottom. Overcrowding is another issue. Goldfish produce a lot of waste, and too many fish in one tank can overwhelm your filter, leading to poor water quality. Check your stocking levels and make sure you are not overloading your tank. On Blue Aquatics, we often talk about the 1 inch of fish per gallon rule as a starting point, but for goldfish, it's better to err on the side of more space since they are such messy eaters. The tank environment also includes things like oxygen levels and water flow. Goldfish need well oxygenated water, and low oxygen can make them lethargic, causing them to rest at the bottom, where water movement is slower. Make sure your filter on air pump is providing enough water movement to keep oxygen levels high. A sponge filter or air stone is great for goldfish tanks because it adds bubble without creating strong currents. Speaking of currents, too much water flow can stress goldfish, especially fancy varieties with long fins. If your filter is blasting water like a fire hose, your goldfish might retreat to the bottom to avoid the current. On Blue Aquatics, we recommend adjusting your filter's output or adding decorations like plants or rocks to diffuse the flow, creating a calmer environment for your fish. Substrate and tank decor can also influence bottom sitting behavior. If your goldfish is sitting on the substrate, it might be reacting to the tank setup, For example, a bare bottom tank can feel unnatural to goldfish who like to forage in gravel or sand. If you are using large, sharp gravel, it might be uncomfortable for them to rest on, prompting them to stay put. Smooth gravel or a fine substrate is usually better for goldfish. Decorations like sharp rocks or plastic plants with rough edges can also stress or injure your fish, making them hide at the bottom. On Blue Aquatics, we love creating natural looking tanks, so consider adding smooth decorations or live plants to make your goldfish feel secure. Just make sure any plants are sturdy, as goldfish love to nibble and might uproot delicate ones. Sometimes a goldfish sitting at the bottom is just a normal behavior. So let's explore that possibility. Goldfish are not always swimming around like maniacs. Sometimes they rest, especially after eating or during periods of low activity, like at night. If your goldfish is otherwise healthy, eating well, and showing no signs of distress, it might just be taking a break. Fancy goldfish like orandas or ranchus are more prone to resting at the bottom because their rounded bodies and long fins make swimming more effort. Single-tail goldfish like comets are usually more active, so bottom sitting might stand out more with them. Observe a fish over a few days to see if the behavior is consistent or occasional. On Blue Aquatics, we always encourage watching your fish pattern. Knowing what is normal for your goldfish helps you spot when something is truly wrong. Stress is another big factor that can cause bottom swimming. Goldfish are sensitive to changes in their environment, like new tank mates, sudden light changes, or loud noises. If you are recently added a fish, rearranged the tank, or even moved the tank to a busier part of the house, your goldfish might be stressed and seeking refuge at the bottom. Aggressive tank mates can also be a problem. Goldfish are generally peaceful, but if they are housed with a nippy fish like certain barbs or overly territorial species, they might hide at the bottom to avoid conflict. Check for signs of fin nipping or bullying and consider separating aggressive fish. On Blue Aquatics, we recommend choosing tank mates carefully. Good companions for goldfish include other goldfish, while cloud minnows or peaceful bottom dwellers like corridoras, but always ensure your tank is big enough to avoid overcrowding. Diet is another piece of the puzzle. Goldfish are omnivorous, but feeding them the wrong food or too much food can lead to health issues that cause bottom sitting. Low quality foods or overfeeding can cause digestive problems like constipation, which might make your goldfish lethargic. Always use high quality sinking pellets or gel foods designed for goldfish and soak them dry foods to prevent air gulping. Overfeeding can also spike ammonia levels, circling back to water quality issues. A good rule of thumb is to feed only what your goldfish can eat in 1 to 2 minutes, once or twice a day. On Blue Aquatics, we love sharing feeding tips like offering occasional treats like blanched veggies or brine shrimp to keep your goldfish healthy and active without overloading their system. Let's talk about tank maintenance, because keeping your goldfish healthy starts with a clean environment. Goldfish produce a lot of waste, so regular water changes are non-negotiable. Aim for 20 to 30% water changes weekly using dechlorinated water that matches your tank's temperature and pH. Make sure your filter is up to the task. Sponge filters are great for goldfish, but in larger tanks, you might need a canister filter or multiple filters to handle the bioload. Clean your filter media in tank water to preserve beneficial bacteria and vacuum the substrate to remove uneaten food and waste. On Blue Aquatics, we always say a clean tank is a happy tank, and consistent maintenance can prevent many of the issues that cause goldfish to sit at the bottom. If you have checked water quality, health, environment, and diet, and your goldfish is still sitting at the bottom, it might be time to consider age or genetics. Older goldfish naturally slow down and may rest more often, especially if they are fancy varieties with bulky bodies. Genetic issues like poor breeding can also lead to swim bladder problems or weak constitutions, making bottom sitting more common. If you got your goldfish from a reputable breeder, this is less likely, but pet store fish sometimes have underlying issues. Keep an eye on your fish overall health and consider consulting an aquatic vet if the behavior persists. On Blue Aquatics, we encourage supporting ethical breeders to ensure you are starting with healthy fish. Let's wrap up with some practical steps to address bottom sitting right now. First, test your water parameters: ammonia, nitrate, pH, and temperature. If anything's off, do a partial water change and adjust gradually. Check your fish for sign of illness like white spots, clamped fins, or bloating, and treat accordingly. Review your feeding routine. Fast your goldfish for a day if you suspect overfeeding, and try a cooked pea. Look at your tank setup. Ensure there is enough space, good oxygen flow, and no aggressive tank mates. Finally, observe your fish over a few days to see if the behavior is normal resting or a sign of something more serious. On Blue Aquatics, we are all about taking a systematic approach to troubleshoot problems so you can get your goldfish back to their happy swimming selves. Thank you so much for joining me, Himanshu Suri, on this deep dive into why your goldfish might be sitting at the bottom of the tank here on Blue Aquatics. I hope this video gave you the tools to figure out what is going on and how to fix it. If you have got questions about goldfish care or any other aquarium topic, drop them in the comments. I love hearing from you. And if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with your fish keeping friends, and subscribe to Blue Aquatics for more tips to make your aquarium thrive. Until next time, keep those tanks clean and your fish happy. See you in the next video.